So there's a new Azrael, but I do love the old one. Finally, after nearly 3 decades of ogling him, I'm actually going to paint him in the next 24 hours, because that's when the video goes out. So I grabbed him when the new one was announced, and he was one of the few remaining minis available in metal. The nostalgia wears off quickly with that, I can tell you. Since the new one comes on a 50mm base and I want to play with this one, I 3D printed a stepped 50mm base to accommodate him and the Watcher. I spent way too long cleaning up the minis. There was loads of flash, sprue gates and mould lines which I kept finding throughout the build process. There was a lot of mould release on the model, so it got a wash with isopropyl alcohol and got patted dry. I then clipped the slotter tabs from the models, test fitted them onto the base, and when I was happy with the position, pinned them with a pin vise and a bit of paper clip. I always start with a zenithal spray prime, then I go over the mini with a dry brush of Vallejo Dead White. The early stages of this mini will be using a fair amount of shades and contrast paint, so this helps get the highlights going. The first round of base coats are snakebite leather contrast for his holster, belt and the belt on the Watcher, then Guilliman flesh on his face, Blood Angel's red on his gun casing. I come back in a bit to do his purity seal and undercloak too, and I also did his undersuit black along with his robe lining to break up the beige. Then I give the robes a coat of Seraphim Sepia. The whole mini then gets a dry brush of Vallejo Bone White. This gives some great tones to the robes along with a more natural highlight to the leather and skin. It also highlights the red without turning it pink as pure white would do. Next it's black over the banner and what I want to be metallic. Then all of the wings with wolf grey, and it's a lot of wings, Vallejo dark green on the armour, and pallid witch flesh on any parchment and on the banner. Final all over light dry brush of dead white, avoiding his gun. I know Pride Month is almost here, but I'll save the pink bolt guns for then. Now the metallics, and it's Stormhost Silver. Just Stormhost Silver. Yep, Citadel's brightest metallic is the only metal I am using, and you'll see why in just a moment. I shade the metallics that will be gold with Guilliman flesh. It gives a wonderful aged gold look that suits Azrael's clearly ancient armour and relics. The rest of the silver gets Basilicanum grey, as do the black areas where the dry brush has highlighted them. The Apothecary white goes over the wings and Skeleton Horde over the parchments. Orc flesh goes over the armour, and when they're dry I come in with dark brown and black panel liners just in the recesses to give some extra depth when we move to highlighting. Edge highlights. The dry brushing and shading has done a lot of the heavy lifting, so highlights are pretty quick and easy. The armour gets Sybarite or Sybarite green, making sure to keep the lines as thin as I can. Then the wing details get highlighted with wolf grey, the red gets Wazdaka red, and the silver gets Stormhost silver. Simple. I want an aged energy burn effect on the plasma muzzle and power sword. Since both have been tinted in antique gold, I just need Druchii violet and Guilliman blue glaze. Moving towards the metal's edge, leave the first half gold, and then the outward half gets Druchii violet. And then the outermost quarter gets Guilliman blue glaze. Lovely. The plasma coil and area immediately around it get a dry brush of blue horror to simulate a glow. Then Imperial Fist and Blood Angel's red blended for the banner flames and the feathers on the helmet. I always struggle to call a paint job done, so many little mistakes are obvious to me, but there comes a point where you just have to say, done. To fit the rest of my Dark Angels, I apply Geek Gaming basing glue in the recesses and around the base of the steps and models. I give it a good old dunking in Geek Gaming Scrublands base ready mix. Once dry, I shake off the excess and go around with some careful drops of super glue to seal it down. So that's how I painted old school Azrael. When I see how my Deathwing army do in 10th edition, I may grab the new one. This dude can sit looking cool on the shelf, but I'll get him on the table from time to time. Before I leave you with some beauty shots, please hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more from the channel, and if you think someone else will like this video, do drop them a link. I am Autumn Witch, and I'll catch you next time on Bleeding Tree Gaming.